Alrighty. Hey guys, it is Friday night once again, and welcome to the Man Cave. I apologize for not getting the notice out on tonight's live stream a little bit earlier. I got my schedule for today got a little bit wacky when at about 8 or 8:30 last night. I decided I was gonna run down to Atlanta Grill Company, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. It is Friday, and it's been blazing hot here today. We hit 96 degrees here, and here it is 7:30. It's still 91 degrees outside on the party deck, and it's hot. It's been a scorcher here today. Luckily, I've spent most of my day in the car. Like I said, I rolled out of here a little bit before 5 a.m. this morning. Rolled down to Atlanta Grill Company. I had two objectives down there. But like I said, we'll talk about those in just a minute. I think tonight we're going to have a drink. And for those of you who are going to have a drink with me, be sure and let me know what you're having. Andy's got a beer going. And Ryan, I see you there. Yeah, I waited. I was there. I was looking for you. I met a couple other people. But tonight, I think I'm going to hit the Buffalo Trace. We're going to open that up. And the reason I'm going to have the Buffalo Trace tonight is because one of the two reasons I went down to Atlanta Grill Company today was to pick up this from a connection I've made down that way. So, yeah, I scored a bottle of E.H. Taylor. I'm going to open this. I am going to drink this, and I'll probably open it one Friday night with you guys. I don't know when, but I'm not going to just let this sit around and look at it. We are going to drink that. So I'm going to pour a couple of fingers here of Buffalo Trace and get things rolling here on this Friday night. Jeff's having some Kirkland blend. I'm going to have to try that. Jeff has been really impressed with the Scotch whiskey from Costco. I'll have to try to hit a Costco next time I am in Atlanta and see what I can find, because here in North Carolina you can't buy spirits at Costco. But cheers. Sydney's with us tonight, Phil. Yeah, the lockdown situation in Australia is getting kind of like it was here. I've been fortunate to things have eased up a lot up here in the U.S., and I know things are getting more difficult down there in Australia. Australia didn't seem to be getting hit with COVID by the same force we were getting hit with it here. They were in a lull, and I think it's this new Delta variant may be picking up. One of the things it does appear to be more contagious than the previous strains. Let's find Tanya here, and I think Tanya's probably drinking with us tonight. What are you drinking, Tanya?
Coffee.
Coffee. What are you having tonight?
Well, tonight, in celebration of the fact that our beloved bakery has resurrected itself and is now open, I went a week early and snagged some of their beautiful medium blend decaf, and so I'm enjoying that thanks to Tony and Teresa at Old World.
And yes, guys, we've got a bakery just a block away from here that roasts their own coffee. Some of you guys know I have attempted to roast coffee, and this bakery closed, but it's opened back up. Been opened back up by the same people that started it. They've got a huge coffee roaster in there. And I told Tanya, I said, man, if I could get with Tony and get him to try my roasted coffee and tell me what's wrong with it, that would be great. And Tanya went up there one day and she talked to him and got his cell phone number for me. And I haven't contacted him yet because I want to get him some time to get things rolling back up there again. But he has invited me to come up and learn whatever I want to learn about coffee roasting from him. And so I'm not going to give up on coffee roasting yet, because now I have somebody just a block away that can give me critical feedback on my coffee. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to talk to him sometime in the next week or two and see if I can get started on that. And Scott, uh, you need to talk to Stephen Hickey about roasting coffee on the Kamado Joe. I was going to do that, and uh, I wasted a bunch of money because I couldn't. You can't find a a rotisserie basket that'll fit that 5/8 inch spit rod without some modification. And I screwed up two of those coffee roasting baskets trying to get it to work. And I just said the heck with this, and I bought a Bmore 2000 AB plus coffee roaster, which I'm thinking now that was probably not the best choice. I probably should have bought that Gene Cafe, and I may still buy the Gene Cafe depending on what I learn from this guy up the street. We'll see what happens. But Tanya, I'm going to bring you back on here with us in a little bit when we start talking about our road trip, which we'll be wrapping up with that. So,
all righty.
We'll have Tanya back here with us shortly. But it's been a fun week. I'm taking a little time off work. I took last weekend off work. Tanya and I went on a road trip. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Also, Janice, glad you could be with us tonight. Carla, I see Carla made it. Carla was trying to check in last night. So yeah, today is Friday. Carla sent me a message. I guess you're not going to be live streaming tonight. I'll catch you next week. And this came in last night, and I said, yeah, but it's just Thursday. So we got Carla's day straightened out. So Carla made it in with us. Oh man, this Buffalo Trace. Let me talk about Buffalo Trace here for a minute. This stuff is hard to get. It may not be as hard for everybody to get as it is for me to get, but this is the best $30 bottle of bourbon on the planet. This is good stuff, and it's cheap, but it's just hard to come by here in North Carolina. So the standard Buffalo Trace, I think this stuff is aged for 8 or 9 years. I'd have to go back and look at the detail on that. It's aged longer than your typical bourbon, and it's really good. And this stuff's it's 90 proof. The E.H. Taylor that I showed you a minute ago, it's bottled in bond, so it's 100 proof. I don't remember what the proof is on the Eagle Rare. I don't remember, but the Eagle Rare is still my favorite. We'll see how this E.H. Taylor compares to that. But the other reason I went to Atlanta Grill Company today is my friend Jarell Sterling. I don't know if Jarell's in here with us tonight or not. Jarell is one of my OG groupie friends from back when I got into Kamado Joe stuff. Jarell lived in the Atlanta area, and he's one of the people that I met early on when I started actually meeting people out here in the Kamado Joe community. We were having Bobby Brennan had asked me to come down and cook lunch for everybody at the Kamado Joe office. So I had gone down, and I had been talking with Jarell online, and I asked Bobby, I said, I'm going to invite Jarell and his wife to come have lunch with us. And Bobby had already met Jarell. So Bobby said, heck yeah. He says, bring them on. So Jarell and his wife came and had lunch with us that day. I think it was in December. It was a cool weather month. But I think we had a couple of Joes going outside the old Kamado Joe office in Duluth. And I think I cooked 25 2.5 or 3 inch thick filet mignons. We cooked potato wedges, and we cooked some asparagus. I don't remember what all else we had on there. We had 3 grills going outside, and we really fired it up. So yeah, Janice said he's seen Jarell's post, but this is Jarell. Jarell had to leave Georgia and go out to Texas and start trying to teach those guys how to make barbecue. Jarell realized that there was a shortage of good barbecue in Texas, So Jarell went down there, and he's starting to get them straightened out, but I think it's going to be a long, hard road for Jarell to fix those barbecue problems coming out of Texas. But that's that's actually Jarell's the first reason. I had already planned to go down and meet Jarell while he's here. He's home visiting family, doing some vacation. Russ having a little wine tonight. So let's see here. Where are we? Ashby's with us. All right, Mark Ashby and Jarell are constantly bickering at each other about who makes the worst rub. So yeah, that's still going on. Let's talk about some food. Oh, Nick, before I go on, he had to mention Blanton's. It may be blasphemy, but I passed up on a bottle of Blanton's today. I had the opportunity to get Blanton's, and I turned it down. I'm not as big a fan of the Mash Bill #2 stuff from Buffalo Trace. I like the Elmer T. Lee is the only bottle I have from that Mash Bill #2. The Mash Bill #2's got a little bit more rye in it. It's got a little bit more of the spice flavor, and I'm not quite as big a fan of that. But the Elmer T. Lee I had was really good. I have not tried Blanton's yet, so based on the fact that I do like the Elmer T. Lee, I may try the Blanton's because it comes from that same mash bill. So maybe next time Blanton's comes up, I'll have a go at it. It's only $80. Well, I won't say only 80. 80 is a lot of dollars that's the upper end of what I normally spend on bourbon. But we will try the Blanton's maybe at some point. But a couple of cooks I've got here that have gone on since I talked to you guys last was I tried to do one of these. Did I talk about I can't remember if I talked about this cook. Somebody refresh my memory. Did I talk about the SCA competition steak the last time I live streamed? I might have. I think I may have. Does anybody remember if I did that? I can't remember if I did, but I tried doing an SCA style competition steak. I made a video of this and tried to follow the SCA guidelines. Yeah, I did. I talked. I didn't show. Did I show the pictures? I don't think I showed the pictures. So I did discuss it with Eric when I had Eric on, but that's why I haven't shown these pictures yet. Here's the pictures of this. So, they start out with 1.25 inch minimum thickness on the ribeye, and they trim it up, and a lot of the guys will tie it up to give it a nice tight oval or even a circle shape. And then I season mine just like I normally would. I just use the Himalayan Sherpa, and I use just a little bit of the Atlanta Grill Company sizzle on this one because I'm really enjoying that seasoning blend. And then I vacuum sealed this guy, and I put mine in the refrigerator. Mine went in the refrigerator for about 4 hours. I don't know how long you have at a competition from the time you get your steak to the time you have to cook. So I don't know how long pre-seasoning you can do. So I don't know if I'm within spec there or not. But then I made a butter based with some melted butter and some more of that Atlanta Grill Company sizzle, and I put a stem of fresh rosemary in that also. And I used my PK grill. I got my briquette charcoal going nice, and I got a nice, pretty even cooking surface. And over here on the right, I put a split of oak that would get hot enough here to make a little bit of smoke from that charcoal. Then I put my grill grates in because you gotta have. They say you don't get judged on grill marks, but out of all the research I did on how these competition steaks work, I've never seen a picture of a winning steak that was not cooked on these grill grates. So I got the grill grates nice and hot, and that's what the steak looks like after I took it out of the wrap, out of the fridge. This guy's ready to go onto the grill. So I put it on the grill and start working on these sear marks. And I just set it on the grill and I use the bacon press to help hold it down and get good sear marks while I'm making that. And then I flip it and turn them so we can get the crosshatch grill marks that are so important on this steak. And for the SCA competitions, you have to cook to a medium temperature, which is really 140 degrees or so. And I took these off about the time my internal temperature hit 132 or 133, and it rested up to about 138. So I was just a little bit shy, maybe, on the temperature, but that's what a medium steak looks like when it comes off. You can't turn in medium rare at a SCA competition. They've got a card there of some sort that shows them what the level of pink needs to look like. And if you're too deep red or too deep in that pink, you get points taken off. And Brad Barrett from Grill Greats actually saw this picture right here that I posted. And Brad is deeply involved in SCA stuff because he's the guy that owns and makes these grill grates. And he looked at this picture and said that I nailed the medium cook. So I was at least happy with that part of it. The part that I'm not happy with on mine is the external appearance. I've got the grill marks aren't bad, but the space in between the grill marks here, I don't think is dark enough for me. The ones that I see that win have a deeper red color in between the grill marks, and they may be getting some of that from some of the rubs they're using. My rubs I did not put anything on here that had any paprika in it. So I might experiment again with that and work on my external appearance. I feel confident that I can cook these steaks to a medium temperature, no problem, because as many steaks as I've cooked, and when I've got my Javelin Pro thermometer sitting right there, it's easy to get these guys off when they need to come off. So you don't really have to worry about that. Eric, welcome aboard. Glad you could make it with us. But I really enjoyed trying this. I have a deeper respect now for the SCA competition. It's not as simple as you might think to produce a winning steak. There's a lot of things they're judged on. The appearance is just one. The cooking level, getting that perfect medium cook is another one, which that's probably the only aspect that I would have gotten a high score on here, is hitting that target on this cook. You get a lot of subjective score on flavor. You get flavor, and a texture score. So how that's the mouthfeel and the flavor of that steak are going to affect your scores an awful lot also. But I'm going to do this some more, and I'm going to work on the external appearance of that steak and see what I can do to improve that before I go any further with the SCA method. And at some point, if I can ever get to the point where I feel confident that I can do this, I might actually try to do one of the competitions. And I'll be looking for somebody to work that with me. So we'll see how that goes. One of the next things I've done is I've got a bunch of hot peppers growing, and they're starting to ripe. I'm starting to get some ripe peppers, and I wanted to experiment with what I'm going to do with all of these peppers as they start ripening up. So I bought some jalapenos the other day, and I sliced these. I topped these guys and sliced them lengthwise, and just did a fine dice. This is a very small dice. I should have put something there where it would give it some context. And I laid these guys out on quarter sheet pans, and I should have laid them on parchment paper, but I didn't, but I will next time. And then I put these in my dehydrator at 125 degrees for 4 to 5 hours. And these are perfectly dehydrated These I'll be able to use any way I want to. I did some experiments with this. I haven't cooked with these yet, but I did an experiment to see how well they would rehydrate. And with a couple of these flakes and just a couple of drops of warm water, these things rehydrate perfectly. But one of the things I might do with dehydrated peppers like this is I might put it in breads. I might put it in bread dough. I might put it in a pizza crust even. Luca, glad you could join us. I got to see Luca today also when I went to Atlanta Grill Company. Luca helped me make the connection with the bourbon. And Luca, thank you for that as well. But this is how I want to preserve hot peppers that I don't use fresh. I'll use some of them fresh off the plants when I cut them off, but when I have some that I'm not going to use fresh, this is what I'm going to do with them. And just store them in a mason jar. You got to keep them dry and in an airtight container when you're not using them, but those should keep indefinitely as long as I keep them dry. And I've got some Fresno peppers. I've got 3 or 4 Fresno plants up there, and one of my plants has got 2 peppers on it that are ready to come off ahead of everybody else. Nothing else is anywhere near being ripe yet, so I'm probably going to get those off the vine sometime within the next 3 or 4 days. But the dehydrator, if you want to dehydrate peppers this way, especially if you're going to do really hot peppers, like I've got some cayennes growing and I've got some habaneros growing. Those are the hottest of what I've got growing right now. I'll need to move the dehydrator outside when it comes time to dehydrate those. Yeah, Janice, this is the best way I can come up with. I got this idea from somebody else on another Facebook group, and I actually bought a chopper. I'll have to show you guys the chopper. It's in fact, it's sitting right here, so we can kind of have a look at this. This is this was cheap. It's let me take this off for a second. This guy, I think I paid $15 for this. Let me set this up and kind of give you an idea of what it does. This is like a mandolin sort of, but it's got this chopper in the middle. Let me not spill my whiskey either. But it fits on top of a plastic box like this, and you pull this guy open, you prepare your pepper, slide it down in there, and this guy right here pushes the peppers down through that and makes a perfect small dice. And this thing's also got a large dice option if you want larger, but that small dice is perfect on these peppers. And Janice, if you want, I'll show you a link to where I bought this thing. If you'll, I can't remember exactly what this is called, but the guy that I got the idea from out of another Facebook group had this exact same chopper, and this is some off-brand, cheap Chinese, no-name brand, but I'm sure one of the name brand companies makes one of these also, and I don't remember who it is, but I'll try to find the link for this thing. But this is kind of a one-trick pony, which I don't normally recommend. But for me, fine dicing, when you've got a lot of it to do, this guy right here can be a lifesaver. Those peppers that I did, I only had like 8 or 9 peppers. I could have done those in just a few minutes with my knife, but when I get ready to do this, when I've got a bunch of peppers to do, this guy will actually save me a lot of time. So I'll find the link to that and I'll share it on the Man Cave Meals page at some point coming up here pretty soon. It's cheap. I think if you do a search for Mandoline chopper, you might find it. Let me do a quick glance here on Amazon. and see if I can find that. Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to log in here. Well, yeah, I did get logged in here. Let me find the order where I bought that, and I'll make it quick and easy. It's here we go. This is, it's called Art Bros, ARTBROS. Actually, I did pay $24 for that. I thought it was cheaper. Vegetable chopper, onion chopper, 2-in-1 multifunction, whatever. That's it. So if you want one of these, that's the thing. And if you scroll down, it'll probably show you some others like it. Down here, there are several. I don't remember. There was a name brand of one of these, and I don't remember what the name brand on it was. But this guy made, once I had the peppers prepped, it made very quick work of making the fine dice. The only thing that's kind of tricky is the size of this chopper. This thing is not as big as the pepper, so I had to cut my pepper. Once I halved my pepper, I had to cut those halves in half to fit them on here, and I could fit 2 at a time on there. So this thing's kind of limited, but it's still faster than doing a fine dice like that on a whole bunch of stuff with a knife. If you're really good with your knife, you might be able to do it as fast, but I'm not that good, and this gives me a perfectly consistent dice on everything I put in, and everything that goes through that thing is the same size when it comes out the bottom end. So that's how that works, and that's been fun. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of peppers through that thing, so I'll post some pictures later as I get some cayennes. I've got one plant out there that's full of great big green cayenne peppers. None of them are ripe yet, but when they get ripe, there's going to be a bunch of them. And let's see. Let's come back here. This is always kind of mesmerizing to watch, these slow motion videos. I've done a good bit of cooking on the Alpha in the last couple of weeks. I've done 2 cooks here, and I love making these little slow motion videos with my phone. That fire is just mesmerizing, and the heat that you can generate in this oven is crazy. But the first of the 2 things I did was mac and cheese. I made a video for the Atlanta Grill Company stuff using that Atlanta Grill Company Sizzle hot pepper seasoning blend in this mac and cheese. This mac and cheese has got diced jalapeno peppers in it. It's got chopped bacon in it, and the Atlanta Grill Company Sizzle pepper seasoning blend. This is kind of a spicy mac and cheese, but the reason I like doing the mac and cheese on the Alpha is once I've made my bechamel and mixed it all with my pasta and put everything in there, I toss it in this pan, and I use my Le Creuset brazier here right in the Dutch oven. The thing that makes this thing beautiful is with the heat. I try to be around 400, somewhere between 400 and 450 degrees. It doesn't really matter with specifics in this oven, because this oven is always a little bit hotter than you think it is. But that oven allows me to get a nice browning on the top of this, get a really good browning on that cheese that I've put on top, and then everything underneath that is still nice and creamy and moist. If you just have a look at that, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a really perfect cook on macaroni and cheese. Or I won't say it's perfect. It's the way I like it. You know, everybody may not like mac and cheese the same way I do, but if you want a mac and cheese to come out like this, you mix up your macaroni and cheese, and then you put a new layer of cheese on top of it, and then put it in the oven at four. I think 425 is a pretty good point if you put it in your oven and just leave it in there until that cheese on top melts and browns up nicely and gets kind of bubbly, and then you're good to go. So this is crazy good. That Janice, that's the whole conundrum there. You can't. It's a little hard to control it. Pardon me while I have a sip of that. Uh, Cooking in the alpha, you kind of need to rethink your approach. You don't want to depend. It takes practice. You can get it where you want it just by having a smaller fire or a larger fire, but it's easier, in my opinion. After, let me back up here. I'm not sure how to put this exactly. This is not like an oven where you set a dial, or a Kamado where you're using a temperature controller, or setting vents to where you can get a specific temperature. In my mind, there's two cooking temperatures on the alpha. There's hot and there's stupid hot. You can get below the hot level if you want to, but one of the things I like to do when I want to use a lower temperature is, once I get my fire lit and going with the wood splits, I'll throw some lump charcoal in there and let that lump get caught up and let it get going. And then when the fire dies down, that lump is going to smolder and allow me to keep a temperature, in the 300 to 400 degree range if I want to cook at a lower temperature. It's not so much like an offset at all, because an offset is totally indirect heat cooking. There's no direct heat in an offset. There's no radiant heat in an offset. The thing that sets the wood-fired oven apart from anything like that is, I've talked on here before about different kinds of heat. And this is something that is a good read that's in the Meathead Goldwyn's book, talking about these three different kinds of heat. You have conductive heat, which, when your food is touching something that's hot, that's conductive heat, like a hot pan or a brick deck in the wood-fired oven. That's conductive heat. Convective heat is hot air moving around your food. That's convection. And radiant heat is the direct radiation that's coming from the fire or the heat source. And in this oven, you've got all three of those things working at the same time. And that's why this oven will cook something so much faster than your indoor oven or a Kamado. You've got all three of those things working together. And you can see in the picture here, I slowed down the process a little bit. You see here, I've got a fire brick over here. I've got the fire brick set in there to minimize or eliminate the radiant heat element. In this picture, I'm still cooking with conductive heat, because this brick floor in this alpha oven is still hot. It's really hot, and it's cooking by setting that pan on it. It's like setting the pan on a burner almost. And I'm still getting the conductive heat because the air is flowing up over the top of that brick, up into the curved top of that oven, back down onto the far side there. It's got air circulating in there because of the shape of the oven. It's a fun process to learn, but there is a learning curve. This thing's not as easy to learn. I'll admit that it's not as easy to learn to cook on this, but once you do, it's addictive. I'm super impressed with how fun that is. And don't blame me. Don't blame Jeff. Get Luca in on this too. Luca's done a lot of amazing stuff here. And one of these days, I'm going to have, I'm hopefully going to get one of the guys from Alpha to come on here with me. In fact, I need to send him an email and see if I can get him on sooner rather than later. Beth, I typically don't, I cook pasta al dente for about everything I do because I like my pasta a little firmer. But one of the things I've found with my mac and cheese, once I cook that pasta and when I put it in the bechamel, it's not really going to get mushy in there. I don't know why. The bechamel doesn't really make my pasta uh, mushy during the additional cook. This mac and cheese is made. I made the video. You can look at the video on the Facebook page for Atlanta Grill Company or on their YouTube channel. But this thing, I make the bechamel by melting the butter, putting a little flour in, and cooking that together a little bit. Then putting my milk in and cooking that until it starts to change color. And then we add that back to our cooked pasta with the cheese and everything else that's going to go in it. So, yeah, I've never really had a problem with mushy pasta when it comes to the large elbow macaroni. The small elbow macaroni may behave a little differently. So yeah, Brian, the rock box, the rock box is a beast also. I'm gonna do another video sometime here soon using the rock box because the rock box does something else besides pizzas really well, and I've got to figure out what video approach I want to make to do this. But the rock box makes an excellent broiler, and it does things quickly. You don't have to preheat it. You just turn that flame on full, and the flame that's rolling up over the top, you put a pan of something in there and you will broil. I may do some salmon in an iron pan or something in that sometime soon just to show that feature because it does it really well. And let me find out where we are here. I've been running my mouth and missing out the comments here. Baked ziti and lasagna in the alpha. Yeah, that's lasagna is a perfect thing. Anything like that cooks extremely well. I've done chicken with roasted potatoes, and that's something else we're going to talk about here in a minute. Something else I've done that I'll probably do a video on, and when I do the video, I'll probably do it in the alpha. So let's see. That's the end of the mac and cheese. And the next thing I did a peach pie. I did a bourbon peach pie this time, and I made this video. Have I published this video yet? No, this video, I would normally publish my videos today on Friday, but I didn't. This one's going to publish tomorrow. I made a bourbon peach pie, and we cooked this guy in the alpha oven also, and this guy came out off the hook. The only mistake I made when I was making this video was I did not let my pie cool quite enough before I decided to cut into it. And it wasn't, it hadn't firmed up like I like it. It was still a little bit loose inside, but I made a bourbon peach pie, which, yeah, Graham doesn't like the jalapenos. Yeah, you can definitely leave that out. You can put on whatever you want. But this peach pie, oh, man, it's off the hook. It's basically, just peaches. I started out in one of my large skillets with some butter and some brown sugar. And then I dumped, just about a half a cup of bourbon. And man, if you didn't know it, I've got some bourbon around here. And one of the things that's happening is some of the bourbons that I've bought that I'm not a huge fan of, that's the bourbon I'm cooking with. And I actually cooked this one with Michter's, which is not a bad bourbon, but it's not one I enjoy drinking that much. But I put about a half a cup of bourbon in that, and then a little bit of a cornstarch slurry to give me something to help thicken that up. And once that got hot and started to thicken a little bit, I dumped my peaches in there. And then you have to cook that for a bit and let that thicken up a lot. And there's a slight possibility I didn't let that quite thicken up enough here. Pies are not my specialty, but this thing did great. Mark, I've got the Alpha 1. It's the smallest of the alphas. And if you're looking and don't want a huge alpha, I recommend having a look at the 1 or the 5 minuti. I think the 5 minuti is probably where I'd rather be than the 1, but I'm happy with the 1 so far. Can it be done without bourbon on a Kamado? Oh no, you have to use bourbon. No, you don't have to use bourbon. Uh, yes, you can do it without bourbon. You can do it on the Kamado. The Kamado, the only thing about doing this on the Kamado is I've done these on the Kamado before, and there's also an egg wash on top of that pie crust. I can't get these things to brown up like you see here on the Kamado. If you have the Dojo pizza accessory, I recommend, if you want to do something like this on the Kamado, I recommend using the Dojo because you'll get a better chance of browning it up like you see here. But yeah, if you don't want to use bourbon, and I'll put a comment to those effects with the recipe when I post this tomorrow. You could use apple juice. You could use orange juice. You could use water. I wouldn't use water. I can't really recommend water for much anything on this. I would use something with some flavor to it. You could use peach nectar. You can get those canned peach nectars, and you're only putting about a half a cup in there, not a lot. But this is a deviation of my last peach pie that I made. My normal peach pie doesn't use bourbon. I use a mixture of Grand Marnier and amaretto, which is the orange liqueur and the hazelnut or the almond liqueur. That is a really nice flavor. But now I don't know which I like better. I don't know if I like the bourbon better or if I like the amaretto and Grand Marnier better. They're both good, but guys, this is also one of those Lodge cast iron pie pans. Lodge has a new set of stuff out that they call their bakeware line, and there's a Lodge factory outlet down in Concord near here. And Tanya and I visited that place a while back, and my objective was I was going to buy one of these pans, and I actually found some of those in their second stack. So I ended up buying 4 of them. I'm going to keep 2 of them for myself, and 2 of them I'm going to make Christmas gifts out of. The ones that were in the second stack had some problems with the seasoning on them. That was the only thing wrong with them, and that's something I can fix myself. So I've already fixed it on this pan. And actually, I see the problem even better after I cooked on it, because when I washed it, some of their seasoning came off, and I've got to work that out a little bit. But this Lodge pie plate is excellent, and I think it retails for like $20 or $21. And Russ, I think I posted the pictures. I don't know if I haven't posted the video yet. I don't think. I'm confused because, like I said, I'm taking some vacation time. I took last weekend off, and I'm also taking this weekend off. I'm taking 2 weekends in a row off my regular job, so my time is gone right now. I'm lost. But this, I told you guys I conquered my my Brussels sprout hatred and cooked some Brussels sprouts that I liked. So I promised I was going to try sweet potatoes because I hate sweet potatoes. So I decided to get into that this week. So I bought 2 sweet potatoes. This is one of them. And I just, what you see here, I had washed this guy and brushed it clean. I did a coarse dice on it. I left the skins on, and I put them in just a mixing bowl, and I tossed them in a little bit of melted butter. I had my mind's telling me I'm going to want to roast these things. So then I decided what kind of flavor I want to put with it, and I think one of the things that I don't like about sweet potatoes is probably the sweetness. And I'm not really sure why. That sweetness just does not appeal to me. So I decided we're going to season this. We're going to go the savory route with the seasoning instead of adding additional sweetness to this. So I took some chili powder, and my go-to chili powder here in the man cave is the Spice Island stuff. That's my favorite of all the commercial chili powders. So I took some of the Spice Islands chili powder and I put a little extra ground cumin in with that. So I tossed that stuff in the butter, the chili powder, and the ground cumin, and then I put it in one of my Finex cast iron pans, and I sprinkled some salt, some kosher salt over this as well, a good bit of salt, not too much, but then my Breville Smart Ovens, my little toaster oven that I love so much, I had that thing preheated at 450 in convection mode. So I put this guy in there, and I figured out pretty quickly that 450 in convection mode was going to be a little too hot for that. So I backed it down to 400 after it had been in there for 5 to 7 minutes. And every 8 minutes or so, I would pull this guy out and toss it, where I was keeping them moving a little bit and keeping them coated in the butter that was in the pan. And here's what I ended up with. I've got a picture here with a little closer up. And to my dismay, I like these. This is something I would have no problem eating. I ate these, and I liked it. I think I can improve this one a little bit. This was a simple cook, but I want a little bit more char on these guys. So I think next time I do this, instead of chickening out at 450, I'm going to leave it at 450 and cook them until they're soft inside, but maybe have a little bit more char on the outside. So I like this. So now I definitely can say I like sweet potatoes, but they got to be cooked this way. I am going to experiment. Jeff Ledbetter was tell me about trying some, drizzling maple syrup on here. So I may try some in the sweeter direction later. And cumin, cayenne, and cinnamon, Cindy says. That sounds good. Have you tried that? How does the cumin and cinnamon come together? That scares me just a little bit. Oh boy, Graham, you guys are killing me. I'll try something sweet. I'm gonna do this again. I've got that second sweet potato, so I'm gonna repeat this one first and get a little more char on that, and see how that comes out. Because if I can make that work, I can make sweet potato fries with that technique that I really like, and we'll see how that pans out. That Breville oven that I have also has an air fryer mode on it, which is like a super convection mode. I could have done the exact same thing with an air fryer and used it. So, but I like doing stuff like this in my cast iron pans, and we'll see how that comes out. Cindy says she tried that together and cut the sweet out of the potato. Yeah, I bet it would. I'm trying to. I don't know if I've had cumin and cinnamon together. I guess I have, because most chili powders have cumin in them, and I know I've had some stuff that's got cinnamon. I'll have to play with that idea. One of the things I learned cooking with Chef Eric. Chef Eric did some potato wedges when I was cooking with him one time that were very simple. They were russet potatoes that were cut into wedges that he was cooking on a soapstone to get some char on each of the open flat sides, and he had put cumin and lemon juice on those things, and that's all. I think that's all. I can't remember if he added salt to that or not. He probably did, but the cumin and lemon juice combination was really good, and I'm curious about how that would pan out on a sweet potato. I'm not real sure, but that's something I might try as well. See how that comes down. So where am I now? Okay. My father-in-law has a birthday Saturday, tomorrow, or is it Sunday? Uh, Hang on a second. Tanya,
Saturday, tomorrow.
is that when we're having the?
Yes, the
Oh
breakfast
Jesus!
brunch.
Oh Lordy! Why was I thinking that that was Sunday?
Because Sunday's when you're cooking dinner for him.
Okay, well, good Lord, because okay, so the birthday's tomorrow, but we're having the brunch tomorrow.
Yes,
But I'm cooking dinner for Sunday. Good, because I said,
yes.
Lord help if I got to cook dinner tomorrow, because I'm not prepared for that. But anyway, my
Dad's going to be
father-in-law.
75. He can't eat two big meals in a day.
Okay, well that's fine. But Tanya's dad loves my baby back ribs,
He does.
so I bought these Walmart, these Smithfield ribs from Walmart. If you look through the case and try to find some that have this. Oops, let me back up here. This is a 5.5 pound single rack of baby back ribs. These things are crazy. Look at this thing. It's just a meat. It's got more meat on it than a baby back rack should ever have. So I took this guy out, cleaned it up. Well, here I'm just showing the backside of it, but I pulled the membrane off. And guys, that's another thing I want to tell you about. If you don't want to go the trouble of taking the membrane off the back of these ribs, don't worry about it. They do this in competition cooking, and they'll tell you 50 million reasons why you need to do that, but all of it's BS. I think if you're going to cook competition ribs, you need to take it off. But if you're going to cook ribs for your dinner table, do whatever you want to do. I do it because if I don't do it, being a social media influencer or whatever, I'm going to catch a lot of crap. Dude, you didn't take the membrane off of there, or you ruined that, or you lost me at not taking the membrane off. I'd hear comments like that all day long. So I just do it. And then I seasoned it up. And I don't use a binder. A lot of people like to use a binder. I don't. I just put my seasoning on there and I let it sit till it starts to pull the moisture out of the meat. And once it gets to that point, that seasoning's staying on there. So I toss these guys on my Classic 3, and I was using the Fireboard to run this grill. I just ran it at 225, and I left these guys on there for 2.5 hours, since these are a lot meatier than normal. And also, every hour or so, I was spritzing that rack, or every 45 minutes or so, I was spritzing that rack of ribs. And at the 2.5 hour mark, I wrapped it up in foil and put it back on the grill, meat side down. And I left it in there for 90 minutes. So there, at this point, this thing's been cooking for 4 hours. And you can see I've got some pullback on the bones here. When you've got a rack with this much meat on it, you're not going to get that extreme pullback like you do on the ribs that are less meaty. These things were really tender here at this point. So I put them back on the grill, and I sauced these guys with some of the Atlanta Grill Company sweet sauce, and let them cook for another 30 or 45 minutes until that sauce sets up like you see here. And then I rested them for a little bit, and just look at the amount of meat on these ribs. It's crazy. I did not get a beautiful smoke ring on there, but there's a smoke ring. And the reason you don't get a great smoke ring on this particular rack of ribs is because these things have been injected with that saline solution. And I find that when I get meat that's been injected like that, I tend to not develop quite as good a smoke ring. And this kind of exhibits that. But the meat here, just look at all that. These things were beautiful. This is a perfect cook in terms of moisture and tenderness. These ribs are crazy good. But I cooked these yesterday, and these, I cut that rack into 4 pieces minus one rib because it doesn't matter who you're cooking ribs for. If you cooked them, you get a rib. So I had a rib yesterday. There's a rib missing here, but he won't miss it. uh, Thank you, Graham. Yeah, these ribs came out amazing. I did not make video on this cook. I just took some pictures, and yeah, these guys are off the hook. But last weekend, Tanya and I took off Friday, and I went down to Edisto Island to start with. Tanya and I like stone ground grits, and I have been buying my grits from this company. They've recently changed their name to the Marsh Hen Mill. They used to be called the Geechee Boy Mill, and they're out on Edisto Island, South Carolina. So I wanted to visit their little shop. So Tanya and I went down there, and this is just a picture of some of the stuff I have from them. But the only thing we bought when we were down there Friday, we bought more grits. I bought 5 more 1.5 pound bags of grits. Tanya, you bought some. You bought some almond butter? What did you buy?
I did. I bought some almond butter that was a mixture of almond butter with pecan and peanut. And today at breakfast, I had the peanut butter I picked up. Now, I have to tell you guys that I love sorghum. I mean, it's yummy stuff. They had a peanut butter that was a sorghum peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
And the ingredients were like sorghum, peanuts, sea salt. And I was like,
right.
Oh, yeah. So, very good.
I think all I bought, well, I actually bought some of their new logo stickers to go on my Yeti coolers also. I'm a sucker for a sticker like that, but I buy my cornmeal and grits from them. On the last order I made from them, I bought some of this Carolina Gold rice and a bag of their black-eyed peas that I have not cooked any of yet, so I can't really comment on those. But I'm thinking about maybe doing something with black-eyed peas on the grill. I might, because those things cook all day in a Dutch oven. I might do something to, I might come up with some way to turn that into a man cave meal. We'll think about that. And if you've got some cool ideas on black-eyed peas besides dropping a ham hock in there, let me know. We'll play around with that idea. But from Edisto, we had lunch on Edisto Island at a place called the Roxbury Mercantile. Was that what it was called, Tanya?
That was it.
It was right near the Geechee Boy Mill or the Marsh Hen Mill. We didn't go out to the beach at Edisto Island. We just went in far enough to go to this place, and then the Roxbury was on our way back out. So we went there for lunch, and they had a pulled pork sandwich on their menu. So I said, why not? I'm rarely ever satisfied with somebody else's barbecue, but I ordered their pulled pork sandwich. So the waitress asked me an amazing question. She says, would you like the red sauce or the gold sauce? And I said, oh boy. I said, they've got some low country or upstate South Carolina mustard-based sauce. So I said, okay. I said, I want the gold sauce. And it was delicious. It was really good. And we're going to see some more about that here in a minute. Where am I on my pictures? Okay. We left there and we went down to Savannah. Jeff's talking about Hoppin' John. I'm going to have to look into that. So, Jeff, maybe we can collaborate on putting together something like that and doing it on the grill, getting some smoke. We'll come up with a recipe. We'll do something fun with the black-eyed peas. But Tanya and I went down to Savannah. I had a hotel booked in Savannah, so we went and checked into our hotel, and we were trying to decide what we were going to do Friday night. And I couldn't decide if we wanted to try to go up into the historic district or not. And then after just a short debate, we decided we were going to go out to Tybee Island. And so we went out to see the lighthouse. This is the lighthouse at Tybee Island, and it was just kind of the perfect time of day where we could stand there and have the sun right there behind us at the point of the lighthouse. So we made a little selfie there, and then we took a stroll out onto the pier at Tybee. It was really a beautiful evening. It was warm and humid, but it wasn't overpoweringly hot, and it was a little bit overcast maybe. But it wasn't terribly crowded out there. I actually found a reasonably decent place to park there at Tybee, and we had dinner. Was this before or after dinner, Sonia?
After dinner, I think.
We had dinner at I can't remember. It was a bar. It was some sports bar or something. Uh, the food was marginal, but I had a basket of fried shrimp, and I love fried shrimp, and bad fried shrimp still pretty decent. And I don't even remember what you had to eat. What did you have to eat?
I had a quesadilla and some of their
Yeah,
spuds.
yeah. We didn't do the cuisine thing really when we went to Savannah, so don't hold that against us. But uh,
But we know we're going to eat where we're going to eat when we go back.
yeah. So when we left, we went up into Savannah, into the historic district, and spent the first part of the day in the city market up there, wandering around, and then we had to leave to come back towards home. And as we were coming out, we came across this sign for this place that had ciders. I can't remember what the place was called, but when I rolled in there, they had that yellow sauce that they had at the Roxbury where I had lunch, and it was this. It's called Chipper Dog barbecue sauce, and I said I'm gonna have to have a bottle of that. So I bought a bottle of this, and oddly enough, this stuff's made made here in North Carolina. It's, it's made in Albemarle, which is down on the east side of Charlotte. So I bought a bottle of that, and as Tanya was mentioning earlier, they had sorghum, and this is something I can't find around here anywhere. And Chef Eric Gephardt's been on me for a long time to try some sorghum and get some sorghum to use. And I typically don't want to mail order stuff like that, but this stuff. Oh no, it's this stuff. I'm sorry, it's the sorghum that was made here in Albemarle. That sauce is made in Charleston.
Oh, okay.
My mistake. I believe the yellow sauce, the Chipper Dog's made in Charleston. So I lied to you about that. But when I got home with the sorghum, I don't think I've ever tasted sorghum right out of a container before. But I opened this up, and of course I stuck my finger in it, tasted it, and it tastes like molasses. But after it's been on your tongue for a few seconds, this beautiful sourness comes flowing in with that, and it's a really intriguing sweetness with the sour behind it. And I showed this to Eric Gephardt. I told him, I finally found some of this and bought it, and he gave me a thumbs up and told me that I need to put some of that in the next pizza dough that I make. So I probably will.
I love sorghum. It's
Yeah,
funny. Go ahead now.
Tanya likes pizzas from a mellow mushroom. I don't know how many of you might be familiar with mellow mushroom, but one of the noticeable characteristics of their pizza dough is that it's got either molasses or sorghum or something like that in it that gives it that flavor they have.
I use sorghum. I make this. It's kind of like caramel corn, and I use sorghum to give it this really fabulous flavor. And I usually always have some on hand, but I hide it in my pantry so John never finds it.
I didn't know you had any, so
Yeah.
but now I've got enough here to last me a while. That jar right there will last me quite a long time. I don't remember how much I paid for it. It was $10 maybe. I don't remember, $10 or $12 for that, and $8 or $9 for that sauce. And then coming home, Oh boy, the Le Creuset outlet. This place is on Interstate 95, and it's in a town in South Carolina called Yamasi, and that is spelled Yemasse. If I remember correctly. We kept seeing the Le Creuset signs, and we thought that it was going to be a regular Le Creuset outlet that was going to be part of some outlet mall like those Tanger outlets that you run into. But no, this is a standalone place, and it is a factory outlet, and all they have in there is factory seconds. And when you look at the price tag on the stuff in this place, it's got the retail price, and then it's got a markdown price. And then everything in the store is 50% less than the markdown price. Do I have that correct, Tanya?
Just about everything. There's a few things that are like only 25%.
Well, everybody knows I'm a big fan of the Le Creuset, and I've only got two pieces of it. I've got that brazier that I got from Atlanta Grill Company recently, and I decided to buy this, and there's nothing here to tell you how big this is. This is not very big. This is a 2 3/4 quart Dutch oven that I can't remember what the retail price on that was, but I got that. I got that for less than half a retail after everything was said and done. And this is that flat black licorice color that I like. I need the 5-quart version of this. They did not have the 5-quart version of this in this color, or I probably would have bought it, because my only 5-quart enameled Dutch oven is a Lodge, and I dropped that. I dropped the lid on that thing last week or the week before and took a big chip of enamel off of it. So of course I'm wanting to replace it, but the 5-quart Le Creuset is $350. So if I can get it for half of that on a factory second, I might buy it. So I need to look the phone number up for this place and just call them once a month or so and ask them, hey, do y'all have that? I might drive down there and get it. But this Le Creuset stuff, I love it. It's very, very high quality, well made. And this is like I said, this is a factory second, but I can't figure out what was wrong with this one. I don't know what made this particular one a factory second. I looked at it long and hard before I bought it to make sure there wasn't some sort of game changer in there that would make it not function, but it's good. So that's all I've got in the pictures for tonight. But that's what we did last weekend on our weekend off. We had a good time. Tanya and I like road tripping, and we do it occasionally. I don't know where our next one. I think the next road trip that Tanya and we're going to go to the Akron Zoo up in Ohio.
Panda Palace.
Tanya and I like red pandas, and they have these 3 red pandas at that zoo that they're on Facebook an awful lot with these videos. They've opened up a new exhibit at that particular zoo that's they call it Wild Asia, and it just opened up at the end of May. And I don't know if we're going to make it up there before Tanya has to start back to work in the fall or not. We're going to try, but anyway, I've gone long here. We've been going an hour and 10 minutes. Does anybody got any questions? Let's see. Chip down here says he's been to that store several times. Let's see. Maybe that's it. Maybe this licorice is not a popular color. You know, how many, Tanya, help me out here. How many women would buy a flat black enamel Dutch oven flat? Maybe that's why. Maybe the licorice is not a popular color. You think that Jeff's bought his wife some new Le Creuset stuff that's one of the new pretty green colors. Jeff, are you still with us? Does your wife like the flat black? Janice likes the flat black. There we
Let's
go.
just set the record straight here. You know, we walk in the door and the lady's nice to me, and then John comes in, looks around, rubs his hand, and says, "Oh boy." And that's pretty much it. You know, every sales lady in the place was there. Do you need any more help? Can I show you anything else, sir?
Well, I told her, I said, I like this licorice color. And she says, well, we only have 5 pieces of that. And she showed me what she had. And that small Dutch oven was the only piece they had that I was interested in. But I might stay on top of the fact that I might be able to get a 5-quart Dutch oven for half price there. So yeah, what else have I missed? Anybody got any questions they like to ask tonight?
Well,
Jeff
I'm going to answer the question that I know that all of them are thinking. They're like, Tanya, what are the name of the pandas at the Akron Zoo? And they're Penny, Lulu, and Coco.
Oh yeah.
Just go out to YouTube and look for Panda Palace, sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, these red pandas are amazing little animals. They're really intriguing. If you haven't seen a red panda, look one up. They're really amazing little creatures, and they're endangered, and they're native only to a very small area of Nepal in the lower altitude Himalaya region, if I'm correct. Is that where they're from there, Tanya? They're high altitude animals normally,
Yeah,
but they're yes,
super
Todd,
cute.
Todd. I met Todd at Atlanta Grill Company today. I met another guy named Steven at Atlanta Grill Company today. Steven and his wife were up from Jacksonville. I think they were from Jacksonville. Todd, do you live in the area there at Atlanta Grill Company? Do you live close by there? Todd asked me, I think, as I was going out the door, what I was cooking tonight. And I told him, I said, I'm not cooking tonight. I said, I'm drinking tonight. I think Todd may live in the area. I'm not sure if he's but I love getting to go down there because usually if I go to Atlanta Grill Company, somebody that comes in the store while I'm there will recognize my voice. They'll say, yeah, I've heard that guy before. Yeah, Todd lives in the area down there. So it would be dangerous if I lived that close to Atlanta Grill Company. If I lived that close to Atlanta Grill Company, I'd talk those guys into hiring me. I would probably work there. And they're looking for help, by the way. If you guys if you're looking for a job and want to be able to move some material around and help those guys out, they are looking for they're opening up, they got a new warehouse and they're looking for some help. Which method do you prefer when cooking brisket, low and slow or hot and fast? And do you notice a difference in the taste and tenderness? Uh, I don't prefer one method or the other for taste and tenderness because no, I can't really tell a difference. I don't. To me, everything I do is low and slow though because to me, hot and fast is going up above 350 or 375 degrees or even up to 400 degrees. That's hot and fast. I do 2 methods of low and slow. I do 225 low and slow, or I do 300 low. 300 to me is still low and slow. Uh, I haven't cooked brisket at temperatures above 300 degrees yet, so I don't have a good answer on that. I've cooked butts at every 25-degree interval between 200 degrees and 425 degrees. I have cooked at every 25-degree interval in there, and I would really, notwithstanding the bark, I don't think you'd be able to tell a difference in any of it on the butts. Now, I can't speak intelligently on the brisket there. Uh, I just don't cook brisket nearly as often as I cook butts, and I may not ever cook a brisket again if I can't get it for less than $5 a pound. I may never cook another one. I would rather have beef ribs than brisket. I would rather pay more and have beef ribs than I would brisket. So, San Diego, yeah, it'd be the California Grill Company. The problem with the California Grill Company, Sandy, is you'd never actually get into the store because you're going to have to read all these disclaimers and warnings before you could get in the store, because everything in there and everything you do with the stuff in there probably causes cancer. Now, I shouldn't harp on California. I've been to a lot of places in California, and let me tell you, of all the places I've been to in California, if I had to live there, San Diego is the only place in California I'd want to live. I've been out there a few times. Uh, it's beautiful. I've got a couple of friends out there, so
Yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna go out there sometime.
yeah. I won't have any trouble getting Tanya to go to San Diego, because we can go to the San Diego Zoo, and I think there's a Lego Land or something out there that Tanya would probably enjoy. There's I think I think it's out there, but yeah, Tanya and I'll do. We'll go to San Diego, and when Cindy, when we come out there, I'll let you know, because I'll hook up. We'll hook up and have dinner. There's a lot of great food in San Diego. Tanya won't like most of it because Tanya doesn't do seafood, but Tanya will be able to find. Tanya doesn't like fish tacos, and there's some good. I can take Tanya to Slater's though. Tanya would dig Slater's 50-50 burgers. So
Maybe.
yeah, I know you would. All
But
right.
also, I know that there's a lot of vegetarian options out in California, so
Yeah.
I
Well.
check those out.
All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight, me and Tanya. I'm gonna, I told you I was gonna get Troy Smith on here from T. Roy Cooks on YouTube. Um, he told me last time I talked to him that he was busy up until after the 4th of July. So I might try to get a hold of Troy this week and see if he'd like to come on with me next week or the week after. Troy's a really interesting guy. Troy does a lot of great cooks. Troy lives out in Austin, Texas. So Troy is what I would consider a go-to authority on Texas barbecue. And I've watched, if you want to know about cooking briskets, Troy's the guy to answer the question, because Troy's cooked a lot of briskets, and Troy's got a lot of different cookers. Troy's got a really nice offset, and Troy does some amazing stuff. So let me see if I can work on getting Troy to come on with us. So yeah, Cindy says Legoland's out there. So Tanya, we need to go to San Diego and we need to do Legoland. Tanya and I we're going to Hollywood in August. So we're not going to be getting down to San Diego on that trip. We're going to a little thing out there that we want to do, but we're going to spend are we out there 3 or 4 days, Tanya? I don't remember how many now. I don't even remember how long I booked that trip for.
I
We're
think you
going
did 4.
we're going on a Tuesday and coming home on a Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. We're there for 3 nights, and we've only got currently there's only one thing on our agenda, and I think it's on Wednesday. And but I'm not renting a car either, so I won't be able to get down to San Diego. But we're going to be in Hollywood I think it's the first week of August, and I don't remember.
I think so.
I haven't been to California. The last time I was in California was when I went to San Diego to go to Harry Sue's barbecue class, and that's been a while now. That's been 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. I don't remember exactly how long it's been, but Harry Sue lives in San Diego. And Cindy, if he's still teaching barbecue classes at his home out there, I highly recommend going to one of those. You'll learn so much from Harry. It's just crazy. He does it at his house, and I don't like I said, I don't know if he's still doing it or not. He might be, but anyway, I'm running way long now. So guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you back next Friday night, and hopefully I'll see if I can get Troy to come on with us. So guys, have a good weekend.